My paranormal experience in high school. Back to 2010, I had the privilege of attending high school in the beautiful country of the Philippines. It was an unforgettable time in my life filled with unique experiences and fascinating encounters. During that period, I was in my second year of high school, which technically speaking would be equivalent to 8th grade in the United States. The educational system in the Philippines differed slightly as we transitioned from 6th grade directly into high school as freshmen. I attended a private high school located in Cavite, a province known for its rich history and vibrant culture. Our school had a customary routine after recess and lunch, where all the students would gather and form a line in the gymnasium. This assembly served two purposes: to listen to important announcements and to wait our teachers, who would then lead us to our respective classrooms. As high schoolers, we would be assigned the upper floors, while the lower floors were dedicated to the elementary and preschool students. One particular part of this routine intrigued me and my group of friends. On our way up to the classrooms, we often stopped by the bathroom situated near our classroom. It became somewhat of a tradition for us to take a quick detour and freshen up before the next class began. On this eventful day, I was engaged in conversation with a good friend Lambert as we followed our buddy Denzel into the bathroom. Denzel had a distinct walk, accompanied by his unique bowl-cut hairstyle. Since we saw him heading toward the bathroom to kill time, Lambert and I decided to join him. However, as soon as Lambert and I entered the bathroom, an eerie silence enveloped us. To our astonishment, the bathroom was completely empty, despite the fact that we had just seen Denzel walk in moments before. It was a perplexing situation that sent chills down our spines. Without wasting any time, we quickly dashed out of the bathroom, fear urging us to return to the safety of our classroom. When we arrived at our classroom, our hearts still racing, we were utterly shocked to find Denzel already sitting at his desk. It was as if he had been there the entire time. While we had experienced something inexplicable in the bathroom, the realization dawned on us that we had just witnessed a paranormal phenomenon. And it was the first time I had ever encountered such an occurrence with a fellow witness. Living in the Philippines, I had encountered numerous inexplicable events and supernatural phenomena throughout my time there. It was a country rich in folklore and deeply rooted in beliefs concerning the supernatural. If you're interested, I'd be more than happy to share more of my captivating stories from time to time in the Philippines. Just let me know, and I'll gladly recount those mesmerizing tales. Phone call to dead mom. My mom passed away 4 years ago, and the void she left in my heart is still as vast as ever. The profound absence of her presence in my life is a constant reminder of the immense love and warmth that she brought into our family. And it's in those moments of longing that my sister comes to my rescue, sending me cherished old photos of her mom that I've never had the chance to lay my eyes on before. The flood of emotions that washes over me when I see these precious glimpses of her is undescribable. There's a bittersweet joy that accompanies the discovery of these unseen snapshots, as I witness her radiating happiness in a way I had never witnessed before. During my monotonous work days, I found solace in stealing glances at these treasured photographs. They became a source of inspiration and a tangible connection to the past. As the hands of the clock inch closer to midnight, signaling the end of yet another exhausting day, I finally find myself back home. Weary from the demands of the outside world, I begin the ritual of shedding my work clothes and slipping into comfortable clothes and embrace the entire house. Absent-mindedly, I placed my phone down on the dresser in front of the television, oblivious to the mysterious events that would soon unfold. In search of sustenance, I navigate my way to the kitchen, my footsteps echoing through the house. Engaging in brief conversation with my ever-supportive wife, I share a few moments of respite and affection before the outside world is momentarily forgotten. It is during this ephemeral respite that my subconscious mind reminded me of the phone left unattended in the other room. Returning to my sanctuary, I enter the dimly lit room and catch sight of my phone, its screen illuminated as though someone is desperately trying to reach me. Puzzled and intrigued, I approached the device, only to realize that it's not receiving any incoming calls, but is instead initiating one. My mom's name, Grace, is on the display, shimmering with an otherworldly aura. The sheer impossibility of the situation left me dumbfounded, my mind struggling to comprehend the inexplicable. How could my phone, a mere inanimate object, dial my mother's number spontaneously? With trepidation and curiosity intertwining within me, I gingerly bring the phone to my ear, eager to grasp even the faintest whisper from the past. Silence envelops me, filling the void left by my mom's absence once again. And just as abruptly as it began, the enigmatic phone call ended, leaving me grappling with the myriad of emotions and questioning all these things that seem to have no answers. Attempting to rationalize the inexplicable, I consider the possibility that I might have accidentally pressed some random digits when retrieving my phone from my pocket. However, a wave of realization crashes over me as I come to comprehend the absurdity of that notion. For the phone to dial my mom's number, I would have had to consciously navigate through my contacts and deliberately initiate the call. There are no accidental explanations to be found, only a profound mystery shrouded in an eerie ambiance. Left in a state of unease, my mind races to make sense of the bewildering occurrence. Could it be a sign from my dear departed mom, a way for her to reach out and remind me of her eternal love and presence? Or was it a mere glitch in the fabric of our technologically advanced reality, an inexplicable anomaly without any greater significance? Uncertainty swirls around me like a tempestuous storm, refusing to grant me respite or clarity. Regardless of the cause, one thing remains certain. The call has stirred within me an unyielding desire to delve deeper into the realm of the unexplained. Perhaps there are forces at play beyond our comprehension, fleeting glimpses of a world beyond the veil of mortality. The mysteries of life and death intertwined in an intricate dance. And these continue to elude my understanding, leaving us humbled and forever yearning for answers. As the night draws to a close, I find solace in the knowledge that my mother's spirit, whether through supernatural intervention or an enigmatic technological mishap, has found a way to bridge the chasm between our realms. Her memory lives on in my heart, guiding me through the labyrinth of life, and reminding me that love transcends the boundaries of time and space. Though the unanswered questions may linger, I cherish the profound connection I shared with my mom, knowing that even in her absence, she continues to shape the course of my life and provide comfort in the face of the unexplainable. Living alone in an 1800s bookbinder building. Living in the old bookbinder building, which was constructed back in the 1800s, has been quite an experience for me. Strange occurrences have become a regular part of my life ever since I moved into this house. Initially, everything seemed fine and there were no signs of anything amiss. However, as time went by and years passed, peculiar things started happening around me and even to me. Now let me clarify that I firmly believe in the existence of the paranormal. I hold the belief that spirits of those who have not found peace after passing away might linger in certain places, and it seems that such a presence has made its way into my home. One of the eerie phenomenon I've noticed is objects moving on their own accord. It's not a dramatic scene with things flying through the air, but rather subtle movements. For instance, an item placed on a flat surface would shift slightly without apparent cause. These objects are usually heavy enough that even a gust of wind from an open window wouldn't be able to move them. Additionally, I have an aversion to closed doors, so all the doors in my house, except the entrance door, remain wide open and adorned with door curtains and insect nets. Despite my efforts, I'm observing these curtains occasionally swinging as if an invisible presence is brushing against them. Even as I sit at my computer, focused on the screen, I catch glimpses of the curtains moving behind me in the distance, beyond the reach of my PC's fan's gentle breeze against the wall. But that's not all. Every now and then, I experience an unsettling smell that seemingly emerges out of nowhere. It's as if I suddenly detect the odor of rotting, moldy, burning wood in my room. However, upon thorough investigation, I find no traces of decaying or moldy wood in my home. The only wooden elements present are my old furniture pieces, which, when inspected closely, exude a faint scent of leather and wood polish that's barely noticeable. Furthermore, my dreams have taken a turn for the bizarre. They lack any logical sequence or coherent storyline, leaving me perplexed upon waking. Day or night, I occasionally sense a penetrating gaze fixed upon me, even when I'm alone. It's an indescribable feeling that I struggle to shake off. One particular incident stands out in my memory. While standing in my kitchen, my attention was drawn to the doorway by an inexplicable instinct. To my astonishment, I caught a sight of a pale white face peering at me from the top right corner, partially hidden behind the string curtain. The moment our eyes met, the face vanished as swiftly as it had appeared. Since that encounter, I've noticed a disturbing change within myself. I've become easily irritable and prone to anger, causing strain on my friendships. These newfound emotions even led me to entertain thoughts of inflicting harm upon others, an utterly alien notion to my inherently calm and kind nature. As I walk through the city, a passing stranger can trigger an inexplicable urge to hurt them, and I find solace in the fact that I've refrained from acting upon these impulses. In a desperate attempt to find solace, I've tried burning sage and displaying a cross, and various other remedies, but nothing seems to alleviate the growing presence that haunts me. Despite the turmoil, I have a deep attachment to this place. Moving is not an option I want to consider. Instead, I find myself contemplating the idea of seeking assistance from a medium or someone well-versed in ridding homes of unwelcome entities. Naturally, I'm wary of resorting to a Ouija board or any other means that may inadvertently danger the spirit or invite even more malevolent beings into my home. My primary concern is resolving this issue in a safe and peaceful manner that respects both the spirit and my own well-being. Something tried taking me. A few nights ago, as I was preparing to go to bed, I couldn't help but notice the stifling humidity in my room. It was unbearable, and I knew I needed to do something about it. In an attempt to create some ventilation, I decided to open my window wide open and left my bedroom door ajar to allow a constant breeze to flow in. Little did I know that this decision would lead to a series of strange and unsettling events that would leave me questioning my own sanity. Before I could even drift off into a peaceful slumber, I sensed an unusual restlessness in my German Shepherd. It was as if he too had detected something amiss. To my surprise, my other two canine companions seemed equally agitated, adding to the growing unease in the room. Suddenly, when I was rudely awakened by a peculiar sound, like something attempting to pry open the screen of my window, startled, I jolted upright in bed, only to witness my faithful shepherd growling fiercely at the window. My mind was still foggy from sleep, and I struggled to make sense of the situation unfolding before me. Summoning every ounce of courage I could muster, I sprang out of bed and rushed to the window, and there, to my astonishment, stood a figure clad in dark blue, a cloak reminiscent of the attire worn by devout Christian monks. Instinctively, I forcefully shut the window, causing the mysterious being to bolt towards my backyard fence and disappear into the adjacent alleyway. What truly unsettled me about this intruder was his grotesque hand, resembling that of a reptile with only 3 fingers, each adorned with thick, menacing nails. My mind raced with fear and confusion, desperately seeking a solution to the bizarre events unfolding around me. In a moment of clarity, I realized I needed to contact my brother, who happened to be upstairs and possessed a firearm. Hastily, I reached for my phone, only to be met with frustration. It malfunctioned inexplicably, and to my dismay, most of the contacts had vanished, Only the names of those residing within my household remained, including my brother's. As I struggled to make sense of my malfunctioning phone, another one of these lizard-like beings emerged. This time, however, it was taller and leaner than its stocky companion. It stood motionless, simply observing me with its cold, piercing gaze. Fear coursed through my veins, yet somehow I managed to maintain a semblance of composure, though it was rapidly slipping away. To my utter astonishment, the creature's face began to morph and contort, eventually taking on the likeness of someone I knew. It was a chilling sight as the alien being smiled menacingly with the visage of an acquaintance. And then, everything went black, and I succumbed to the unconsciousness. The last image burned into my mind, that haunting, shape-shifting smile. When I finally regained consciousness, I found myself drenched in sweat, disoriented and utterly confused. I questioned the reality of what had transpired during the night. Although my window remained partially open, it was evident that it hadn't been fully closed. My dogs, usually full of energy but never violent, exhibited an unprecedented level of anxiety as I let them out. They attempted to leap into the alleyway, their behavior alarmingly aggressive. Throughout the remainder of the day, I struggled with a peculiar brain fog, making even the simplest of tasks feeling arduous and confusing. It was a disconcerting experience, one that left me searching for answers and longing for clarity. Desperate to make sense of the bewildering events that had unfolded, I turned to the vast depths of the internet. In my quest for understanding, I stumbled upon references to lizard men, alien beings purportedly aiming to seize control of our world. However, I soon discovered that this theory was primarily propagated by David Icke, a well-known conspiracy theorist whose ideas were deeply rooted in anti-Semitism. Here in this online community, I've come seeking your thoughts and opinions on this extraordinary and disconcerting encounter. I yearn for any insight that might shed light on the inexplicable events that unfolded in my life. As I delve deeper into the rabbit hole of speculation, I can't help but wonder, was I truly visited by otherworldly creatures, or did my mind concoct an elaborate fabrication influenced by external factors? Only time and further investigation will reveal the answers I so desperately seek. Heard my name. I've been living in our current house for over a decade now, and throughout these years we've had a series of intriguing experiences that seem to occur sporadically, usually every few months. While these incidents are generally minor in nature, they've managed to pique my curiosity and leave a lasting impression on me. You see, our house has a rich history. It was once owned by a single family for more than half of a century, and the couple who resided before us have since passed away. It's not uncommon for homes with such a long lineage to retain a certain essence or energy, and our house seems to possess its fair share of residual effects. The peculiar occurrences we've encountered are seemingly innocuous, yet undeniably eerie. For instance, we've heard peculiar sounds echoing through the halls, unexplained footsteps resonating from upstairs, and even the distinct noise of drawers opening when no one is present. These incidents have become part of our everyday lives, leaving us with a lingering sense of intrigue and wonder. However, nothing could have prepared me for what I guess I saw that night. It was around 11:30, and I was preparing to retire for the evening in the comfort of my bedroom. As I was going about my nightly routine, an unexpected event unfolded. Shattering the relatively calm atmosphere, it was a moment that will forever be etched in my memory. In the midst of preparing myself for a peaceful slumber, a voice, unmistakably that of a woman, rang out with startling clarity. It called out my name, causing me to instinctively whirl around in a state of shock and disbelief. The room was shrouded in silence, devoid of any external disturbances. The television remained turned off, and I was the only occupant within that space. The utterance of my name from an unseen presence sent shivers down my spine, leaving me perplexed and unnerved. In all my years residing in this house, this was the first time I had encountered such a direct and personal interaction. While my wife might dismiss it as a figment of my imagination or the product of an overactive mind, I find it challenging to disregard the multitude of unexplained phenomena that have unfolded over time. This inexplicable incident, specifically the enunciation of my name, surpassed anything I had previously experienced. Perhaps there is a lingering energy within these walls, remnants of the couple who had once called this house their home. Or maybe it's a manifestation of something beyond our current understanding, a glimpse into the realm of the supernatural. Regardless, the encounters left me contemplating the nature of our existence and the unseen forces that may exist parallel to our own. While my wife may attribute these occurrences to mere chance or coincidence, I found myself compelled to explore the depths of this enigma further. I yearned to uncover the secrets hidden within these walls, to understand the true nature of the whispers and footsteps that reverberate through the rooms. Each unexplained incident adds a layer of mystery to the narrative of our lives, compelling me to seek answers and delve deeper into the unknown. As I reflect on the multitude of inexplicable events that have transpired throughout our time in this house, I can't help but marvel at the intricacies of the human experience. We are often confronted with phenomena that challenge our preconceived notions and force us to question the boundary of our knowledge. Our house, with its enigmatic history and ethereal occurrences, serves as a constant reminder that there is so much more to this world than what meets the eye. So as I lie in bed tonight, listening to the faint creaks and murmurs that permeate the air, I find solace in the fact that I am part of something greater, something beyond the realm of the mundane. And as I close my eyes, I eagerly await the next chapter of this ongoing tale, eager to unravel the mysteries that lie within the very fabric of our existence. Possibly magic, mischievous entity? Didn't notice it in my food? I had just returned from a brief trip to relieve myself and freshen up by rinsing my mouth with water. Little did I know that this seemingly innocuous act would soon thrust me into a perplexing and bewildering situation. As I began swishing the water around in my mouth, an abrupt and unexpected hardness made its presence known, causing me to pause in confusion. My initial assumption was that one of the brackets on my braces had come loose, which often led to unexpected discoveries in my mouth. However, upon closer inspection, I realized that it was not a fragment of orthodontic hardware that had captured my attention, but rather a solid flake of old wall or ceiling drywall. Ew. To my astonishment, this peculiar flake of drywall was approximately the size of a nickel, leaving me utterly perplexed as to how it found its way into my mouth. My mind raced with questions, desperately seeking answers to this enigma. How had such an inconspicuous object ended up in my mouth? Had it somehow infiltrated my food without my notice? The thought of inadvertently consuming a fragment of drywall was both disconcerting and unfathomable. As I pondered the baffling origins of this intruder, my attention turned to the faucet itself. It boasted peculiar features, an aerator, a seemingly harmless addition, designed to enhance the water flow and control the formation of splashes. However, in light of recent events, this seemingly innocuous device now assumed an air of suspicion. Could it be that this aerator held the key to the mysterious appearance of the drywall flake in my mouth? Intrigued and determined to solve this puzzle, I retraced my actions meticulously, hoping to find any shred of evidence that would shed light on the situation. I replayed the moment in my mind, reliving each step of my endeavor to rinse away the day's remnants. And then, like a stroke of genius, a theory began to form within the recesses of my mind. Perhaps when I took my initial handful of water to commence the rinsing process, the drywall flake had appeared as if by magic. The prospect of such a fantastical occurrence both intrigued and bewildered me. Could it be that the drywall flake had materialized within the water stream itself, as if guided by an unseen force? I mulled over the possibility, considering the various elements at play. The aerator, with its intricate design and purpose, became the focal point of my inquiry. Could it have inadvertently transported this mysterious object into the water flowing from the faucet? My curiosity propelled me forward, and I decided to inspect the aerator more closely. With great care, I dismantled the apparatus, exposing its inner workings to the naked eye. Each component revealed itself, offering clues and insights into the intended functionality. It was then that I noticed a minuscule gap within the aerator structure, a potential gateway for foreign objects to enter the water stream. With an air of cautious optimism, I peered into the small crevice, hoping to uncover any remnants or traces of the enigmatic drywall flake. However, my search proved fruitless, as no evidence of its passage through its hidden passage could be found. Frustration mingled with fascination as I contemplated the elusive nature of this bizarre occurrence. Hours turned into days, and my quest to unravel the mystery persisted. Countless theories and scenarios flooded my thoughts, each one more fantastical than the last. I consulted experts in plumbing and construction, seeking their professional insights into the matter. Yet, despite their collective wisdom, no conclusive answers could be found. The drywall's flake origin remained shrouded in ambiguity, its journey into my mouth an unsolved riddle. As time wore on, I resigned myself to the fact that perhaps this incident would forever be relegated to the realm of the inexplicable. It would remain a tale to share with my friends and family, a captivating story that defied rational explanation. The drywall flake had become part of my personal folklore, a testament to life's penchant for presenting us with enigmatic occurrences that defy conventional understanding. And so, dear reader, I leave you with this tale of the unexpected, an account of a routine act gone awry, leaving me with a drywall flake in my mouth and a sense of wonderment in my heart. For in life, it is often in these inexplicable moments that remind us of the boundless mysteries that surround us, urging us to embrace curiosity and welcome the unknown. Grandma and I saw deceased great-grandma's shadow. When I was just a young child of 8 years old, living in El Salvador, my grandmother's house was a place of mystery and peculiar occurrences. She practiced Santeria, and as a result, her home was always enveloped in an atmosphere of strange energy. I remember it vividly, the constant presence of eerie sounds and unexplained phenomena that seemed to manifest within those walls. The house itself held a haunting history, as my great-grandmother had passed away within its confines. Her bedroom was conveniently located adjacent to the garage, with a door separating the car parking area from the rest of the house. Beyond her bedroom, there was yet another door leading to a storage room. It was through these two open doors that an unforgettable event transpired. One evening, my grandma and I were preparing to go out to dinner. As she turned the key to the ignition, the engine roared to life, causing the headlights to illuminate the area outside. It was at that moment that a peculiar shadow was cast upon the wall, seemingly projected by an unknown source. Startled, I glanced towards my grandmother, seeking an explanation for its eerie phenomenon. "That's my mom," she calmly uttered, her voice carrying a mixture of reverence and awe. In an instant, a profound sense of tranquility washed over both of us, overwhelming our senses. Tears welled up in our eyes as we stood there, transfixed by the apparition before us. It was a rare and profound connection, bridging the gap between the living and the departed. For a brief moment, time seemed to stand still as we basked in the presence of my great-grandmother's spirit. It was as she had reached out to us from the realms beyond, offering solace and reassurance. The weight of her existence and the knowledge that she was watching over us filled our hearts with warmth and love. As a young child, I struggled to fully comprehend the depths of what had occurred that fateful day. But even at such a tender age, I recognized the significance of that encounter. It was a testament to the enduring bonds of family and the profound impact that they can have, transcending the boundaries of life and death. In the years that followed, my grandma's house retained its mystical aura. The peculiar sounds, the inexplicable flickering of lights, and the occasional glimpse of shadowy figures continued to bewilder and captivate me. It was an environment where the supernatural and the everyday coexisted, blurring the lines between the tangible and the ethereal. Looking back on that momentous day, I realized the profound impact that it had on shaping my beliefs and understanding of the world. It ignited a curiosity within me, a fascination with the unseen and unexplained. It sparked a lifelong quest for knowledge and a deep appreciation for the intricate tapestry of the human experience. To this day, the memory of the encounter lingers within me, like a cherished heirloom passed down through generations. It serves as a reminder of the extraordinary nature of existence, the interconnectedness of the past and present, and the enduring power of love. My grandmother's house, with its strange sounds and mysterious energy, will forever hold a place in my heart, a testament to the unspoken wonders that lie just beyond the veil of our reality. Ghost Soldier in El Salvador. In the year 2015, an unforgettable experience took place. It was a serene night when 3 of my closest friends and I decided to indulge in the beauty of the night sky. We found ourselves on the outskirts of the city, nestled in a vast field that faced the majestic presence of a towering mountain. Our car was parked discreetly, enveloped in darkness, with only the faint glow of distant streetlights illuminating the surroundings. This particular location was known as Santa Elena, a place that is now transformed into an exclusive residential area, mostly inhabited by the affluent or elders. As a result, criminal activities were virtually non-existent. However, it hadn't been this way. In the 80s, the mountains encircling the area served as a tumultuous battleground, witnessing the tragic loss of over 220,000 lives during the 12 years of intense conflict. As we stood there, captivated by the celestial wonders above, an unexpected sight caught our attention. A solitary figure emerged from the shadows, gradually drawing closer to our group. My initial assumption was that he must have been one of the security guards that may be assigned to gate that community and guard it. After all, it was customary to pay guards in this dangerous country to carry shotguns for protection. The possibility of encountering a guard seemed plausible, and I dismissed the situation as inconsequential. However, one of my friends astutely pointed out that if the mysterious individual truly belonged to the security team, he would not be approaching us from the direction of the mountain. Intrigued and slightly perplexed, we found ourselves contemplating the nature of this encounter. With every step the man took, his appearance became clearer. Clad in worn and tattered military attire, his shirt betrayed the unmistakable signs of a long-lasting stand of dirt and aging. His haircut bore an uncanny resemblance to the styles prevalent in the 80s, while his sturdy boots and crimson bandana completed the nostalgic ensemble. The most disconcerting aspect, however, was that the weapon he carried, a formidable assault rifle that appeared to have witnessed to its own share of battles and hardships, in his hand. In his wariness, the man approached one of my companions. His countenance reflected exhaustion and despair. Gasping for breath, his voice trembled as he posed a seemingly innocuous question. "Hey, what time is it?" Without hesitation, my friend responded, "It's 10 p.m. Gratitude shimmered momentarily in the stranger's eyes as he uttered a heartfelt "thank you," and resumed his solitary trek toward the looming mountain. His figure gradually dissolved into the enveloping darkness, leaving us overwhelmed with emotions. In that poignant moment, an indescribable surge of emotions swept through our beings. Tears welled up in our eyes, propelled by a whirlwind of bewilderment and disbelief. To this day, the enigma surrounding that encounter remains unresolved, and the identity of that perplexing figure eludes us. As he vanished into the abyss of the night, a profound sense of melancholy washed over me. I couldn't shake the feeling that the man we had just encountered was lost, burdened by an unseen weight that only he carried. An innate desire to extend a helping hand lingered within me, an unspoken wish to alleviate his weariness and offer solace to the soul that seemed trapped in the labyrinth of time. Reflecting upon that fateful night in 2015, I find myself oscillating between awe and sorrow. The memory of the man with his tired eyes and the haunting aura he exuded remains etched in my consciousness. The unanswered questions and the unexplained circumstances continue to occupy my thoughts, reminding me of the inexplicable mysteries that lie dormant in the depths of our existence. Perhaps one day, the truth behind that encounter will be unveiled, and the lost soul that we met on that starlit night will find the peace and redemption he so desperately seeks. There's something living in my woods. Living on our expensive 13-acre property, nestled in the outskirts of my state where the transition from the suburbs to rural farmland occurs, has been a unique experience. My parents residing in the main house near the road, and my beloved fiancé and I, who decided to transform one of the barns situated on the back half of the property into our cozy abode, have truly embraced this unconventional lifestyle. Surrounded by a picturesque landscape of a wide clearing of a pasture, we found ourselves encircled by enchanting woods on three sides. The seclusion and tranquility offered by our idyllic setting ensured that our humble dwelling was not frequented by many visitors. Ever since we embarked on this venture almost a year ago, I've encountered inexplicable bouts of terror during my nocturnal ventures outdoors. As an individual accustomed to residing in the woodland environments for the entirety of my existence, having previously inhabited locations far more remote than our current, this situation was entirely foreign to me. Unusually, the woods have always felt like an extension of myself, a place that resonates as my woods wherever I have dwelled. However, within this particular realm, an unsettling notion continually gnawed at me, suggesting that I was an intruder trespassing on someone else's domain, an unwelcome presence. It was on one fateful evening, as I stepped outside with my loyal canine companion for his customary final stroll, that the eerie events reached their crescendo. The clock struck 11 p.m., shrouding the surroundings in an inky blackness beyond the meager illumination cast by the floodlights adorning the sides of our house. As I proceeded towards the fringe of the tree line, where my faithful pup habitually completed his nighttime rituals, a peculiar sound resonated through the air. It mimicked the distant hoot of an owl, emanating from the direction of the other barn. Positioned approximately 30 yards to our right, instinctively I believed it to be a clever ruse orchestrated by my father, endeavoring to startle me as he closed the barn for the night. Anxious to uncover the source of this charade, I involuntarily called out, "Ha ha, funny, Dad." Regrettably, no response echoed in the darkness. Curiosity quickly gave way to a surge of trepidation when at that moment, my loyal companion ceased his exploratory sniffing, raising his head abruptly. Fixated in the barn's direction, his hair bristled along his spine, while a low, menacing growl escaped his lips. It was an unprecedented display, for his canine harbored an unyielding fascination for all creatures and humans alike, considering each one a prospective friend waiting to be made. I had never witnessed him exude aggression towards anyone or anything, not even in encounters with hostile canines. Moreover, my father held a special place in his heart, ranking as his most cherished individual. Thus, it became inconceivable that my dog's ire was directed at him. As my own body reacted to the harrowing atmosphere with every hair on my neck standing erect, A chilling wave of fear washed over me, striking with the force of a weighty brick. Positioned at the precipice where light surrendered to the unyielding grasp of darkness, my canine companion halted. Ordinarily, the gentle transition from light to shadow allowed for discernible outlines of trees and shrubs, enabling modest visibility. However, this time, an impenetrable barrier of obsidian greeted us, as if a solid wall materialized where light should have prevailed. Suddenly, the replication of the artificial owl call reverberated mere feet away, originating from the abyss concealed beyond the shroud of darkness. My loyal companion jumped, startled by the proximity of the sound, and immediately abrupted into a furious chorus of barks, positioning himself valiantly between me and the enigmatic noise. Fully aware of his petite stature, I instinctively lunged forward, scooping him up protectively, before embarking on a frenzied sprint toward the sanctuary of our dwelling. Retreating from that eerie scene, I discerned a distinct alteration in the sound this time, a peculiar undulation resembling malicious laughter. With the dawn of a new day, curiosity propelled me toward the barn, eager to uncover evidence that might elucidate the enigma of the previous night. Upon arrival, a disconcerting sight greeted my eyes. The doors hung askew, partially unhinged from their sliding mechanisms, as if subjected to a forceful intrusion. Each door swung past each other, affixed in an incorrect orientation, as if an unknown entity attempted to pry them open in an unfamiliar manner. Surprisingly, the sea of sawdust and dirt surrounding the area betrayed, with no signs of footprints or other signs of indicating the presence of an intruder. To this day, the inexplicable nature of that night continues to haunt my thoughts, the unanswered questions lingering. What entity or force lurked within the depths of those woods? Regrettably, this disconcerting incident prompted me to modify my nocturnal activities, confining our excursions exclusively within the protective embrace of the floodlights that grace our property. Destroyed my bedside fan because I thought it was a ghost. I slowly opened my eyes, still caught in the clutches of sleepiness. As usual, I'd left my fan running overnight, its whirring providing a comforting white noise that drowned out the sounds of passing traffic and nosy neighbors. Little did I know that this ordinary morning ritual would soon take an unprecedented turn. In the groggy haze of awakening, my drowsy gaze fixated on the oscillating fan. To my half-conscious mind, it appeared distorted, as if assuming the eerie form of that infamous ghost girl from The Ring. My heart raced and a surge of adrenaline coursed through my veins, jolting me into a state of alertness. Startled, I abruptly sat up in bed, wide-eyed and fully awake. Without a second thought, instinct propelled my arm forward, connecting forcefully with the unsuspecting fan. The impact shattered it into 5 fragmented pieces, sending them hurtling across the room. In that adrenaline-fueled moment, I had unleashed an unexpected display of strength upon the innocent appliance. However, as the remnants of the fan settled on the floor, my racing heartbeat gradually slowed. A peculiar mix of relief and embarrassment washed over me. It was then that the reality revealed itself, and I revealed the truth. It was just my fan all along, innocently providing me with a cool breeze on those warm nights. As dawn gradually illuminated my surroundings, the objects in my room took on a form of mere silhouettes, their details obscured by the faint light. It dawned on me that my bleary-eyed mind had misinterpreted the innocuous shape of the fan, morphing it into a ghostly specter from a horror film. The interplay between light and shadow had deceived my senses, conjuring illusions that vanished in the clarity of daybreak. Reflecting upon the bizarre sequence of events, I couldn't help but chuckle at the curious workings of my own mind. I had unwittingly stumbled upon a newfound understanding of my brain's automatic response to perceived threats. In the face of a seemingly imminent danger, my primal instincts had swiftly taken over, propelling me to defend myself against the imagined menace. With a wry smile on my face, I concluded that, at the very least, I now had an entertaining anecdote to share. Who would have thought that a simple fan could trigger such a cascade of emotions and actions? It served as a reminder of the unpredictable nature of our own perceptions, the way our minds can play tricks on us, distorting reality in unexpected and sometimes comical ways. As the morning light grew stronger, I took a moment to savor the realization that in this instance, the only threat I faced was the one conjured by my own sleepy mind. And with that newfound understanding, I greeted the day with a mixture of amusement and gratitude, appreciating the quirks and idiosyncrasies that make each moment in life an adventure unto itself. Story number 11. A Bloody Owl? A few months ago, an intriguing incident occurred that I feel compelled to share. You see, I reside in the heart of Wisconsin, in a place just beyond the bustling city of Milwaukee. While my surroundings may be considered predominantly urban or suburban, it's worth mentioning that the northern regions of this state harbor quite a substantial number of fervent Bigfoot enthusiasts. Fascinating, isn't it? As for me, I presently inhabit the very same house where I spent my childhood. It's an old abode brimming with memories of days gone by. Behind the house stretches an expanse of sprawling woods, encompassing miles of pristine wilderness. During my formative years, I would often venture into those woods alone, engrossed in my own world of imagination. Admittedly, nothing overtly peculiar had ever occurred during these solitary escapades. Now, as an adult, I have developed a peculiar habit of indulging in a brief nap before my designated bedtime. I refer to it as pre-gaming bedtime, a strategy to avoid the embarrassment of announcing my intention to sleep at an embarrassingly early hour, such as 7 p.m. Consequently, I would awaken from this evening nap sometimes between 10 and midnight, allowing me to conclude the remaining activities of the day. One fateful night, however, I inadvertently overshot my intended nap duration. Abruptly roused from my slumber, I groggily glanced at the clock, only to discover it was 2:45 a.m. Understanding the necessity of taking my faithful canine companion outside for his nocturnal bathroom break, I ventured into the night. As we stepped into the darkness, I could hear the distant hooting of an owl, a sound that had become somewhat of a familiar lullaby due to a family of owls that had taken up residence near the woods. Curiously, my dog's behavior deviated from the norm. He fixated his gaze on the abyss before us, emitting low guttural growls. This was a rare occurrence, as he had displayed such behavior on only a handful of occasions. As a woman living alone, one can't help but be attuned to potential threats, and this deviation from the ordinary warranted my attention. Suddenly, a peculiar sound reverberated through the stillness of the night. To my ears, it appeared unmistakably as though it were my own voice. More specifically, the voice of a younger version of myself. It was as if a tiny juvenile version of me was calling out my brother's name, utilizing a peculiar mannerism I had long discarded. Initially, I attempted to dismiss this auditory anomaly as mere misinterpretation, an absurd notion conjured by a groggy mind. Consequently, I embarked upon a quest to identify any plausible sounds that could have been mistaken for a little girl's voice emanating from the depths of the darkness at such an ungodly hour. Could it have been rustling leaves? Perhaps an exotic bird with an uncanny vocalization? Alas, I stood there. A cascade of unsettling thoughts began to permeate my consciousness. Thoughts reminiscent of the eerie tales surrounding skinwalkers, entities capable of imitating the voices of our loved ones. Yet, according to the lore, one should hear their own name being called, not echoes of one's own voice from 3 decades past beckoning another's name. The chilling realization struck me. For such a voice to have been replicated, an unseen observer must have scrutinized me over the period of time. My logical mind grappled with these illogical suppositions, prompting me to remain motionless. Meanwhile, my canine companion persisted in his growling, as if echoing my own unease. It was then that the hoots once more began, their calls resonating through the night. The sound, so quintessentially owlish, served as a backdrop for what occurred next. Abruptly, a deep, almost masculine and eerily human-like voice interjected, mocking the owls with a single word: "Who?" The tonality of the voice itself, distinctively non-human, dispelled any notions of encountering a malevolent human intruder lurking within my forested domain. Instead, it affirmed the opposite, a presence decidedly unworldly. A single word escaped my lips, a feeble yet determined declaration of my refusal to engage further. Nope. Swiftly, I pivoted on my heel and nonchalantly retreated into the safety of my abode, ensuring my loyal companion followed suit. Once securely inside, I resolved to arm myself, retrieving 2 robust industrial flashlights from my possessions. Brimming with a sense of trepidation, I braved the threshold once more. Regrettably, my courage wavered a mere 10 feet beyond the door, prompting me to choose the preservation of life over unwarranted valor. Thus, I hastily retreated indoors, securing all entrances and retrieving my trusted firearm as an additional precautionary measure. Throughout my lifetime, I've undertaken countless nocturnal sojourns, and I can count on a single hand the number of instances in which I have encountered another soul during these ethereal hours. Eventually, I rationalized that the audacious culprit behind this bizarre episode might have been none other than my neighbor's 18-year-old offspring, partaking in a clandestine rendezvous with the 3 a.m. joint amidst the woodland depths. This theory held steadfast until a serendipitous encounter on an online platform enlightened me to a bewildering revelation. It appeared that numerous individuals had shared eerily similar experiences, recounting incidents of mysterious entities skillfully mimicking the calls of owls. One user even proposed that fledgling owls, in their nascent stages of development, emit such sounds as they struggle to master the art of proper hooting. Curiosity piqued, I embarked on a thorough investigation, scouring various resources in search of audio recordings depicting these fledgling owls' vocalizations. Alas, my efforts proved in vain, as only videos I could locate depicted these avian juveniles emitting shrill, unsettling screeches, sounds that bore no resemblance to the one I had encountered on that fateful night. To this day, the enigma remains unsolved, serving as a haunting reminder of the mysterious forces that lie hidden within the depths of the natural world. The inexplicable mimicry of my own voice from childhood, coupled with the unearthly voice mocking the owls, has left an indelible impression upon me. It's a testament to the vastness of the unknown, and a testament to the chilling notion that perhaps our perceptions of reality can be shattered in the most disconcerting and bewildering of ways. Strange things in my house. I vividly recall the strange events that have unfolded in my home over the years. It all began in 2018 when my family and I moved into our current house. It was just 15 years old at the time, filled with youthful curiosity and excitement. Little did I know that peculiar occurrences would soon become a regular part of my life. During that first summer in our new home, an incident occurred that left me baffled and unnerved. It was a late hour around 2 a.m. when I found myself in need of a drink from the kitchen. As I made my way downstairs, I caught a glimpse of a group of people gathered around the dining room table. Their faces were indescribable, almost blurred and vague, making it impossible for me to discern any specific features. Before I could fully comprehend the surreal sight before me, They vanished into thin air. It was a perplexing encounter that would forever stay etched in my memory. The following year, in 2019, I was home alone one day, except for my cat. I distinctly recall hearing faint footsteps emanating from upstairs while I was in the living room. These sounds were different from the gentle movements of my feline companion, so I ventured to investigate. To ensure my safety, I gripped a knife tightly, unsure of what I might encounter. However, as I reached the upper floor, I found nothing out of the ordinary. The windows were closed and everything appeared undisturbed. It was as if there had been no one else present, but deep within, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss. Despite my best efforts to explain these occurrences, I remained convinced that there was more to this than met the eye. In the year 2020, my family welcomed a new addition, a dog. It was during a dark evening when an incident occurred that further intensified that peculiar happening within our home. My sister and I were enjoying our meal when suddenly, our dog's behavior took a drastic turn. He fixated on something in the garden, barking incessantly as if attempting to scare away an invisible presence. I peered outside, searching for any sign of an intruder, but to my bewilderment, there was nothing to be found. While I acknowledged that there might be a logical explanation, deep down I couldn't shake off the sense of unease that lingered. Although there were other incidents that occurred intermittently, my recollection of them remains hazy. They were unsettling experiences that I prefer not to recount in detail, as the memories are elusive and difficult to put into words. However, it was in 2021 that I encountered an eerie situation that would mark a turning point in the intensity of these strange occurrences. Sleep had eluded me for quite some time, as I couldn't find solace in laying on my side, fearing the unknown that lay behind me. And then one fateful evening, I found myself unconsciously lying on my side facing the wall, without any awareness of how I had ended up in that position. Upon awakening, an inexplicable sensation washed over me, an unwavering conviction that something was lurking behind me. It was an overwhelming presence that I could almost feel with every fiber of my being. The desire to scream gripped me, yet an inexplicable fear prevented me from doing so, as if some malevolent consequence would befall me should I utter a sound. To reassure myself that it wasn't merely a case of sleep paralysis, I attempted to move my fingers, legs, and feet, successfully proving that I had control over my body. And then, in a startling moment, I felt a gentle force pushing me, urging me to shift from my one side to the stomach. By some inexplicable means, I managed to resist this unseen entity's influence, though the precise methods eludes my understanding. Almost instantaneously, as I thwarted its efforts, sleep engulfed me once more. From that moment onward, the occurrences took a darker turn. The summer of 2022 found me vacationing in Spain, desperately seeking respite from the disquietude that had become synonymous with my home. However, even amidst the sun-drenched days and serene landscapes, a sense of unease persisted, as though an ominous presence had followed me across its borders. My vacation stretched over 2 weeks, and during that time I never truly found tranquility. On the journey back home while I was slumbering, a dream seized me, unveiling an unsettling sequence of events. In my dream, I heard a knock on the door of my imaginary house. As I opened it, a cat sprang towards me. But what I saw next chilled me to the core. It was no ordinary feline, but a malevolent jinn or demon, lurking in the guise of a harmless animal. Upon its leap, an indescribable force gripped my throat, robbing me of breath for several agonizing seconds. The dream then spiraled into a nightmarish realm, evoking unspeakable horrors. When I finally awoke, the situation took even more of a disconcerting turn. Still in 2022, on a night when sleep claimed me once more, I inadvertently neglected to perform my nightly prayers, a fundamental aspect of my Muslim faith. It was on this particular night that I descended into a nightmare of unparalleled proportions. In this macabre realm, I found myself illuminated by the glow of lamps as I lovingly caressed my dog. But as I turned away, a chilling revelation awaited me in the kitchen, a duplicate of my dog, devoid of any shadow. In Islamic lore, such absence of shadow signifies a jinn's presence. My realization triggered a monstrous transformation as the doppelganger morphed into a grotesque demon, hell-bent on annihilating me. However, I found solace in my faith as the words of prayer flowed from my lips, warding off the nefarious entity. With the invocation complete, the abhorrent apparition vanished into thin air. Yet the aftermath of this otherworldly encounter left me in excruciating pain, a sensation so overwhelming that it even impeded my ability to breathe. This physical torment persisted for an entire week, haunting my every waking moment. January of 2023 saw me tormented by insomnia, trapped in a perpetual state of wakefulness. It was approximately 1 a.m. when a tremendous bang reverberated through the walls of my room, as if an invisible force had struck it with great fury. The impact was so powerful that my entire room quivered in response. Startled and filled with trepidation, I couldn't fathom what could have caused such a disturbance. Shortly thereafter, in February of the same year, another bewildering incident occurred. As I awoke one morning, a searing pain seized my attention. A deep scratch, seemingly appearing out of nowhere, adorned my skin. The scratch was long, leaving an indelible mark of agony. Days later, a vivid red streak appeared in the exact area where the initial scratch had materialized, serving as a disturbing reminder of the mysterious events that plagued my sleep. And then, yet again, a few days later, I woke up to discover a crimson line etched across my nose. These unexplainable marks left me profoundly unsettled, unable to find solace, even in the sanctuary of sleep. In March of 2023, while in the solitude of my bathroom at midnight, a series of incessant knocks echoed through the door, 6 or 7 distinct raps demanding my attention. I responded, informing the unseen visitor that the room was occupied, and abruptly the knocking ceased. Stepping out, I assumed it must have been one of my parents seeking entry. However, upon reaching their room, I discovered both of them sound asleep. Emanating the possibility of their involvement, my sister slumbered peacefully as well, and with my brother at university, I was the only one awake. Perplexed, I pondered over the identity of this mysterious knocker. Someone or something with intentions that remained elusive. Finally, in April 2023, a mere 2 days ago, I returned home after dining with friends around midday. As soon as I stepped through the threshold, an oppressive atmosphere enveloped me, filling my senses with an inexplicable fear. The unsettling aura was not the only disconcerting aspect that greeted me. My pets, usually a source of comfort and companionship, displayed bizarre behavior. Their gaze fixated on specific spots, seemingly guarding me from an invisible threat that I couldn't perceive. Whenever I went, they followed. Their attention directed me towards areas adjacent to my presence. In the living room, they stared intently at a spot beside the couch, while in the dining room, their watchful eyes remained locked on the kitchen and the cellar door. It was as if an unseen entity shadowed my every move, its presence detectable only by my vigilant pets. As the evening wore on, an overwhelming sense of distress overcame me, intensified by my cat's unwavering devotion. This normally aloof feline remained by my side, mirroring my steps in an unwavering loyalty. Even when I sought respite in the bathroom, he trailed behind me, unyielding in his unwavering vigilance. Meanwhile, my dog devoted minutes on end to fixating on a particular spot in the darkened kitchen. The tension in the air was palpable, leaving me gripped by an unexplainable terror. However, the arrival of my parents brought a momentary respite as the peculiar behavior ceased, and I found some measure of relief. These chronicles merely scratch the surface of the inexplicable occurrences that have plagued my home and my psyche over the years. Each incident, from the ghostly figures to the spectral scratches and unyielding presences, has left an indelible mark on my being. As I traverse this journey through the unknown, searching for answers and potential explanations, I can't help but wonder what lies beyond the realm of our understanding. The enigmatic forces that encroach upon our lives remain a constant reminder of the vast mysteries that surround us, ever beckoning us to explore the uncharted territories of our existence. Story number 13, Whistling at Night. It's currently 4:30 a.m. in the place where I am, and I woke up approximately an hour ago with a sudden realization. I had left my drink, a trusty Stanley container filled with refreshing Mountain Dew, in my car, and the thought of it bothered me. Now, normally I have no qualms about getting out of bed and dashing to my car to retrieve whatever I may need, even if it means venturing out into the darkness of the night. Occasionally, I've experienced a peculiar sensation while walking to my car, but considering that I reside in a small rural town plagued by a drug problem, it wouldn't be unreasonable to anticipate a chance encounter with someone under the influence, potentially leading to an altercation as well. As a 22-year-old female, I'd rather avoid such a situation. Perhaps it's worth mentioning that I live on one of the older sections of town, an area built long before streetlights became a common fixture in this vicinity. Consequently, some of the residents have taken it upon themselves to install small streetlights in their yards, aiming to illuminate the neighborhood during the nighttime. However, these lights are scarce and scattered, leaving my neighborhood enveloped in darkness, which can be a rather eerie sight at times. Moreover, my residence is situated merely floor blocks away from the edge of a deserted expanse, predominantly employed by natural gas mining, which eventually gives way to a captivating canyon. As I mentioned earlier, ordinarily I wouldn't hesitate to walk to my car. However, tonight was different. Upon awakening, an inexplicable sensation of unease settled within my chest, causing me to question whether venturing out to my car was a wise decision. I spent a good 20 minutes attempting to convince myself to take the plunge and receive my drink. Eventually, I mustered the determination to do so. With a resolute mindset, I set out to collect my beverage. Initially, as I walked toward my car, everything seemed normal, and I cautiously scanned the surroundings to ensure no one was lurking outside. Upon opening the car door, though, an abrupt, strong whistle pierced the air from a distance. In that instant, every hair on my body stood on end, and an overwhelming sense of dread consumed me. It felt as if I had been transformed into a small, vulnerable creature. Hastily grabbing my drink, I was startled by the 2 additional short whistles emanating from the same distant source. As I closed the car door, I stood there silently for a moment, my senses attuned to the sound. Suddenly, the whistle resounded once again, but this time it seemed closer, triggering an onslaught of alarm signals within my body, thrusting me into a state of fight or flight response. Fueled by adrenaline, I sprinted back inside, the whistle echoing in my ear 3 or 4 more times. I cannot explain the origin of that haunting sound, nor can I comprehend why it evoked such a powerful reaction from me. However, during those few yards that separated me from my front door, it felt as though I were fleeing from a predatory creature. While it isn't unusual to hear peculiar noises at night, such a distant scream or other unidentifiable sounds, but nothing has ever sent chills down my spine quite like that whistle did. As I lay here in my bed, the unsettling feeling persists, and anxiety grips me tightly, leaving me on edge and restless. Story number 14, Jinn Encounter. I've always had an intriguing relationship with my grandparents' house in Nairobi, Kenya. Whenever we went there for our vacations, there was this peculiar room on the 2nd story that emanated an eerie vibe. It was as if an invisible presence resided within those 4 walls. Even my mother, while growing up in that house, used to hear faint baby cries coming from that room, despite there being no baby present. She even claimed to have witnessed strange Arabic writings on the walls. However, I never paid much attention to these tales, dismissing them as mere exaggerations or figments of imagination. One fateful night, the room's mystery decided to reveal itself to me and 3 of my cousins. We found ourselves inside the enigmatic chamber, unaware of the unusual events that were about to unfold. It began with the door slowly creaking open, catching our attention with its eerie sound, and then abruptly it swung wide open and slammed shut with a force that startled us. It was perplexing because the door was designed in such a way that it couldn't be easily closed without pressing down the door handle to release the hinge. We exchanged bewildered glances, trying to make sense of what had just occurred. However, before we could gather our thoughts, the door repeated its strange behavior a minute later. It opened slowly, then forcefully shut. The cycle continued 4 more times. Fear gradually crept into our hearts, and we instinctively hurtled together, seeking solace and reassurance in each other's presence. Something was undeniably amiss, and we couldn't comprehend the sources of these inexplicable occurrences. In a state of panic, I reached for my cell phone and hastily dialed my mother's number, hoping she would rescue us from this unsettling situation. I whispered urgently, explaining the eerie events that unfolded in the room, while she was sound asleep in another part of the house completely. I could feel the tension in her voice as she assured me that she would come to our aid immediately. As we anxiously awaited our savior, a peculiar hush fell over the room. Suddenly we heard my mother's soothing voice, shushing from the other side of the door. Relief washed over us as we anticipated her arrival, hoping that her presence would dispel the mysterious occurrences. Slowly, she turned the doorknob, and with a gentle push, the door swung open. We eagerly looked up at her, eager for answers and a sense of security. However, what she revealed left us dumbfounded. Outside the room stood a cat, a pure white feline gazing innocently at us with its piercing eyes. It was a sight that defied logic because my grandparents did not own a cat. Furthermore, the time was around 2 a.m., adding an extra layer of peculiarity to the situation. Confusion mingled with curiosity as the cat swiftly darted down the stairs, disappearing into the shadows. We were left speechless, unable to comprehend the significance of this unexpected visitor. Was it a mere coincidence, or did it hold a deeper meaning? Questions swirled in our minds, but answers eluded us, leaving us to ponder the enigma that had unfolded within the confines of that haunting room. From that day onward, the room on the 2nd story of my grandparents' house held a newfound mystique. It became a subject of endless discussions and speculations among our family members. The inexplicable incidents we experienced served as a constant reminder that there are realms beyond our comprehension where unseen forces may reside. Our encounter with the supernatural, whether it was a jinn or otherworldly phenomenon, left an indelible mark on our memories and ignited a sense of fascination for the unknown. In retrospect, that eerie room and the strange occurrences within its walls served as a reminder that the world is a vast and mysterious place, brimming with inexplicable phenomena waiting to be unraveled. It taught us to approach life with an open mind and an appreciation for the unexplained. While the events of that night may forever remain a mystery, they've enriched our lives with a sense of wonder and a newfound respect for the realms beyond our senses.